I don't know how I was muted, but thank you for letting me know. I must have hit a button on my keyboard somehow. Anyways, I'm not making a game. I'm working on a commission to make a leaderboard for a game. Someone asking me what happened. I don't know what you mean, what happened. Alright, so I'm trying to think here. So we're going to use, because if we take, again, so if we're looking at like last Wednesday was the 25th. Let's say OS times that time, OS date is that time on the 25th. So if we use the 25th and then we subtract from it the weekday, which would be 4, minus 1, which would be 3. The 25th minus 3 becomes the 22nd, which is that Sunday, and that gives us that Sunday. If it is Sunday, it would be 1 minus the 1 would be 0, so then it's not going to subtract, so it's always going to be Sunday. That works, so we're going to do that. Alright, so we're going to do, let's get the year, make sure that's lined up. This is the date table dot year. What's up, dev? Shinso. The month is the date table dot month, and then we want to do the day is going to be, and this is already the date table dot day minus the date table. Actually, I'll put this in parentheses because we're going to subtract from it as well. The date table, date table dot weekday minus 1. Gets the previous Sunday. Year, month, day. I think that's all we need for that. Okay, so now we have our now, and we can convert this into the specific start of week date. Or more so, we have the, yeah. That should work, right? Let's do, we'll just spell it out again. Start of week date. And this is going to be our OS date. And we're going to do the same thing. We want to make it UTC, Masters T. And we're going to use our start of week timestamp there. For our key, we need to convert this into a string. How do we want this to go? We do the year, the month, and the day. And use that as our key for our timestamp here. So the easiest thing to do is to make a string interpolation. Let's go ahead and log and say that we've generated weekly key. Let's actually make it like this, so we can get this here. So this is going to be the start of week, date, year. We'll do year, month, day. Just obviously least changed thing to most changed thing, right? Should I let's put like an underscore between them, I guess. Week, month, day. Right. Start of week, date, dot, month. Why does this not have a dot month here? Just recognizing this as something different with the underscores. What has just happened here? Dot month should be a thing. I'm just gonna put it in there, I guess. Alright, now I am gonna insert these underscores back in here. Maybe I should just do a string dot format for this. Should probably shorten these. I don't know. This is a commission, yes. Ever made a queue system before? I mean, yes, but not. I'm trying to think if I have in Roblox. Possibly. Not sure. VS Code sometimes messes up my auto completion too. It's extremely rare that it's failed IntelliSense on me like that, but I think this is the first time probably in the last year actually that's failed me. But what else was I saying? the day. Yeah, so start of week date dot day. See, that one works fine. I don't know why month was giving me trouble. But I'm also trying to think like, let me just come down here real quick and do a quick print on this. Sorry. Get weekly data store key. So I can kind of see what this prints out as. I don't know if I need to set it differently or not. No, okay, that's fine. Cool. String.format not needed. Got it. Alright, obviously we have to change how that works. Should we just make this the, like, each data store is gonna be that? So this would then be a prefix instead of the full data store key. Is there an issue creating a data store every week? I don't think there is, but... You know, like there's limitations for like accessing and stuff, but I mean, it would only be creating a new one every week, and I don't think it's really gonna matter. I'm just defining metadata, but we're not really caring about that. Seems the simplest solution anyways. Thunderstorms, okay. Alright, let's see, so... in that case, yeah, let's make this the prefix. Which is going to change this and this. Well, this is actually fine, yes. Yeah, I see what we're doing here. Okay. This is going to change. And yeah, this is different as well. We'll get to that in a second. Alright, so when we get our data store, we're going to have... Okay, so now this needs to go up then. Making a nice advanced queue system. I mean, I'm currently pretty busy. I've got a few extra things coming in as well, very shortly, so I wouldn't really have time. So if it's something you need to get done relatively shortly, wouldn't be your person anyway, so. I could actually just apply the prefix here then. Then I can do big dot data store prefix underscore key. That's the wrong place to put that, isn't it? There we go. It's gonna be relatively long, and it's not that bad, I guess. Let's go ahead and comment this so people know what it is when they look at it. This generates a unique data store key for the current time. No, for the current week in this case. We'll say that this is Sunday to Saturday. We're gonna make this a multi-line comment. I'm gonna add a little extra in here as well. We are going to say that the key is based on the date of the most recent Sunday. All right. So now instead of this, we're just going to call get weekly data store key. All right, so that handles taking care of the specific data store itself. So maybe I don't care about doing that. Probably not. Essentially, it's just going to change how we save the data. Do I send the client the GitHub file of the project, or do I send it? It depends. If there's somebody I know that actually utilizes GitHub, like I can just send them, I can just add them to the GitHub repo if I want. They can also, you know, track progress or test things out themselves if they want. Otherwise, for something like this, I'll be sending the models themselves because I also had to update the way that they had their models. Whoever set them up before didn't have things in a an ideal way for what we're using here. I also don't have the plugin to change text to 3D. I guess I could do that. So like I haven't updated this to, this is supposed to be most donated or something like that, so. You don't need the queue system right now, but later down the road. Tell you what, actually I need to also become relatively available in Discord here, but go ahead and join up on my Discord, and as soon as I get more info on like my upcoming schedule stuff, I'll let you know, and you can reach out and hit me up. You can also actually look for someone else in the Discord itself to see if they want to. There's a section for find and offer work, so you can offer work there as well. If nobody picks it up, of course, I can still see that as well, so that's a thing. All right, what am I doing? Update leaderboard display is here. All right, so for each rank, we still want to format the roles. Yeah, I think we could actually just go back to the way this was without any issue. So. Let's see. Alright, I don't think I'm actually changing anything here. I'm pretty sure we're only... I think this might actually handle itself. Every server, no matter what's going to have the same data store because it's using the same data store key. No matter when that server starts during that week, it's going to have, like, whichever one starts earliest in the week is going to set the initial data store up for the earliest point in that week. The only problem I can see is if if somebody doesn't join for like 5 days and then the weekly most roll's only going to be, I guess it would still be from Sunday to Saturday regardless. So if only 2 days have been used, then it's still going to be the weekly most rolled in that Sunday to Saturday. So no, that still works. So new week begins on Sunday, a new key gets generated. Effectively resetting the leaderboard because then it's going to use the new key. Let me ask him again. Let's set up the weekly leaderboard to be from Sunday to Saturday. Is that what you wanted? Or did you want a running 7-day total? Essentially, the leaderboard will reset each Sunday. with the way I currently have it. Alright, so we'll wait to see if he responds. I don't know. He shows offline or invisible, at least. Because when we're doing this, we're updating the roles, just setting their total roles for... It's still getting the total roles, though. So it's not specifically then tracking their roles from... So we would need to... We would need to get the delta between their total rolls and the total rolls from when they started the week, right? So we have to check if they have a value in the data store already. And then supposed to reset each week Sunday works. Okay. Cool, cool, cool. Yep. Commission. So we're getting their total rolls. This also, the reason this is taking me a while too, to finish this, is because I don't have access to like all their stuff correctly, so I've had to like really jank some things around just to even test to make sure things are working correctly. Alright, so we've got our total roles being tracked in the data manager. We essentially want to check them. So I could do this in here. Because we're getting the roles. I guess we would do it in here, actually, wouldn't we? For each entry. How'd I learn how to script? I went to college back in like 2005 and got my computer science degree. Check out my YouTube. Go watch my beginner tutorials. It's the best way to start learning, because I actually explain how to do things, not how to make things. I explain why, I explain what things are. Some of them get a little lengthier, but some of them need to be lengthier to actually discuss like the stuff. I am a computer science teacher. I also do teach Roblox scripting. Check out the Discord. I do have offers on there. You can hire me directly for tutoring, or if you are 18 or under, you can also, if you want to, use outschool.com, which I'm available on there, but obviously you can save a little money by just hiring me directly, because Outschool takes a cut. So yeah. That's my side business, is tutoring, and specifically at this point tutoring Roblox development. I have all aspects covered, by the way, not just coding. I've been in the game development and software development industry and world for 20 years now. So, yeah. I would say that you, even just with the beginner tutorials, you will come out of that and you will have the tools to make whatever you want, because you're going to then know the critical thinking aspect, the computational thinking aspect of coding. Having those foundations built, you're going to know, at least if nothing else, where to go to complete that education. Also, I do eventually plan on doing the advanced tutorial videos on the channel whenever time allows as well. So as far as the thing is like, it's only the coding side of things, those videos, those tutorials. As far as like building and stuff like that, there's a million other tutorials about how to use like the building tools or Blender or anything like that if you want to go that route. The reason I don't tend to do those videos as much is because the videos that are out there are fine, whereas I wanted to make the coding videos because the videos that are out there are not fine for that. Most scripting tutorials or most YouTube scripters are perpetuating bad habits and writing bad code. And I want to teach you how to write good code and use good habits and use industry standards that are industry standards for a reason that those other guys ignore because they think they know better. So. Alright, so yeah, we're going to actually do it in here then. We're going to update based on what we're setting. So we're going to change our roles value, because we're getting no, this is just visually updating the leaderboard, so we don't want that. That gets the data store. It is really just when we're saving it. When we update player roles, that's where we need to set it. Okay, so in that case, we're going to adjust our roles here. So we need to get their current roles or 0, I guess. Current saved roles. It's going to be our leaderboard data store. Get. Let's just get async, and key is user ID. Value, I guess. What is the blanking out on this? Order data store. Search this. Order data store gets sorted async. Wait, so our leaderboard result is get order data store. So this is the order data store. So we need get sorted async, which still just returns all the pages. I should still be able to use get async, right? To get a specific value. Yeah, it inherits from it. Okay, so that's fine. Have I created any successful games? I haven't made any. Well, I've done most of the work. The very first game I made was with a friend of mine who was making a game for his daughters, or with his daughters. That was a couple years ago, a little more than 2 years ago now. So we made that together. That's how I got into Luau and Roblox development in general. It was not successful, but it's partially because of him, the other owner. He wanted to do too much, and then he made a bunch of changes, and now it's kind of broken a little bit too, but because of things that he went in and did. I might actually return to that and fix it, because it's still a decent idea if I change it back to the original idea, or the original way it was supposed to be. Otherwise, I pretty much just work on other people's things for now, because I don't have a lot of time. I have a 4.5-month-old baby, and yeah, I am doing a commission right now, as a matter of fact, and then I have another commission to work on. And then I think I submitted an estimate to somebody else for another, not so much commission on that side. That one's just paying me to focus my time on it. That's Project 100. It's an upcoming MMO based on Sword Art Online that I'm the lead developer on. Alright, so we are getting async, which returns the latest value to provide a key. The key does not exist. Both return values are nil. Returns a tuple, the value of the entry in the data store, be given a key, data store key info, instances that include the version number, date, time of version, etc. And functions to retrieve user IDs and metadata. Right. Key name for which the value is requested, which would be the user ID. So this is just returning the same sort of data here. It's just interesting because I'm using obviously the pages to get this one, and for whatever reason it's been a while since I've done ordered data store stuff, but so we're getting an entry. The entry has a key and a value. So our key, so it is our value. So that's all we want then. Our value is the roles. Cool. All right. Enjoy watching scripting tutorials. You'll actually learn how to make a game from someone. Get a lot of help as well. Yeah, it's... The thing is, like, you can watch all the tutorials you want if you don't actually sit down and open Studio up and code. You're not going to learn anything. So I highly recommend after each one of my videos, for example, go into Studio and do anything to do with what I just went over. And, you know, try and break it. You know, get error messages, figure out what those error messages do. I go over, like, how, you know, using documentation and stuff, using the search function and the official documentation, super helpful in finding all the information you need. Can't find it there, you can use the dev forums as a backup, but you just want to be careful on there because there's a lot of opinions on there and they're not always right. There's a lot of very useful information on the dev forums otherwise though. Alright, I've only got like 45 minutes and I have to go, so let's work this out here. Have I ever watched any YouTube tutorials on Roblox scripting, or did I just 100% learn from documentation? So I watched some people, and unfortunately that's like where I discovered the need for someone like myself to come in and do better tutorials. Pandemic 2020, like, everybody thought they could go in and become a scripting tutorial person, and then they taught all these bad practices and bad coding techniques and stuff, and then they taught a bunch of people that, and now it's been a few years, and those people who have been using that for a few years, they think they can also come out and teach other people, and they're also just progressively teaching people bad practices and stuff, so... Dev King is not that great. There's a few people, so Sufi, Quaker Tom, other dev streamers you can watch. Leaf is good, Lief. Dirt Monster 83, I think it is. 89, one of the two. I think it's 83. Let me see if I can... I've got a list on my Discord somewhere too, but... Might even have it in like a blog post somewhere. Yeah, there are people that are good to watch. I'll tell you this, like... so Brawl Dev and Monster Dev, you just wanna... Those guys are close, but they're not quite there, in my opinion. So, I mean, there's certain things that... You want to take what they're doing and what they're telling you, and then do more research on it to find, like, the right way. Because they're not really doing it the right way. They're just doing it the way that they've been doing it, or doing it the way that they were taught. That they themselves never, like, took themselves to the next level, essentially. One way that helps to tell if somebody's at least decently knowing what they're talking about, if their code is written kind of like mine is, where it's easy to read once you know even a little bit about code, and where they're using like type aliases, or even, you know, just type annotation within functions and stuff, where they're using this colon and then saying what data type a thing is, right? If you see that they're utilizing that regularly, like throughout, right? If they're using strict mode, for example, usually that's a decent indicator that they are going to write good code, right? K1919. I have not seen that one. Pull them up. I guess it's 19, 19. Let's pull up something that they're... I see he's teaching by making something like an inventory, which is fine. Problem is, a lot of people will look at that and just take, like, this is how you make an inventory. And then when they go to try to make something themselves, they might not know how to make it because... or make changes to it or anything, because unless he's gone in and actually said this is like, you know, the foundation of stuff, which it looks like he does, so I might have to check him out. I'll keep that pulled up. Do I use ChatGPT to code? No. However, ChatGPT is a great resource for helping you learn. Do not use an LLM to generate code for two reasons. Number one, it's not going to be good at it, especially with Luau. The way that the LLMs work when they're getting code is they get any open source, they're trained on the data for any open source projects that use these services. And the fact is they take the average of that, so you can think of a bell curve, right? And they take the average in the middle there. And then you have your good code on one side, you have your slop code on the other. They're taking the average. The more people that use that code and generate that code, that average is going to slide down because it's going to perpetuate the averageness of it, and your good code is going to be a lot harder to find, a lot harder to do. So it's just not going to generate code very well, especially in even relatively more complex situations. It oftentimes, unless you know what you're doing, even creating a good prompt isn't going to work out very well. Seeing the errors, the issues, or the outdated tactics it's using and stuff, you know, you need to call that out to it. And you can try and work it if you know what you're doing to give you decent code at that point, but you really have to push and try to work it in sometimes. The other side of things is using it for very simple stuff. You could use it for very simple stuff. The problem is your brain will start to rot by doing that. So, and this is something I was talking about the other day, if you are going in and having it make simple functions, even for like leader boards and stuff, this is stuff where you know, your neurons are connected for memory, right? If you stop using that stuff, those neurons disconnect and you forget how to do even basic functionality at that point. So who would I say be the best influence? Like one of the best YouTubers as far as this goes? I'm a big fan of Sufi. It's like, I think it's 5U. Let me find him on YouTube actually. Be easier. Yeah, this guy. Excellent. This guy. Excellent. There are others as well. It's talking. Is it from my music?
One main server script which has thousands of lines of
Ha!
code in it.
He's been talking this whole time. All right.
And something like that can be hard to read and hard to do.
Also talking. The autoplay on those, that's crazy. Anyways. There's others as well, like I mentioned. this guy, good. Dirt monster, good. And there's one or two more that I really really appreciate as well, but it's too boring for the average Joe on Roblox to copy his tutorials. It'll teach a lot. Gotcha. Yeah, there's definitely a bunch of underrated guys out there that you can watch. It's a really new coding method you've seen. Never seen type being used or ever VS Code for Roblox Studio. Yeah, so I mean I use VS Code for various reasons. I have a video about Rojo that you can watch that kind of goes over some of the reasons. There's other reasons, but for the most part, I will tell you it's not technically preference. There's actually a good reason to use VS Code, to use an external editor compared to Roblox Studio. But I'm not going to go over that here because I talk about that entirely too much. Isn't working code good enough? No. Working code is not good code. A working code that is bad code is often unoptimized. B, it's not maintainable, so if you need to go in and make changes 6 months later, good luck. It's going to take you a lot more effort and time to do that, whereas if you write good code, good clean code, way easier to go in and do that. And then C, if you are working on a team at all or somebody else has to go in and work on your code, good luck to them. You want to write good clean code. It just saves time, energy. There's this thing called tech debt, technical debt. That's where you make something quick and dirty, basically, right? You make it really easy, quick, done, it works. You've saved time. But then in the future, again, you have to go in and make any changes or adjustments or even just look at it to know what it's doing. You are costing yourself more time and effort in the long run. So you want to make sure that you're doing it right from the get-go. The fact is that, especially with doing types and stuff, you save yourself time doing that. People will often use like RS for replicated storage. Why would I need to do that? I can type RE. I mean, look, replicated storage is right there, right? I don't have to type it, but that one time, and it's much more clear because RS could also be used for run service, right? That kind of stuff. Question you got regarding coding is what the point of return and remote events. You kind of understand return, but remote events. So remote events are creating your own custom events. So parts, for example, I can kind of show this. Just turn into a little bit of a teaching thing. I've got half an hour to do this. I can pull up the object browser. This is something really useful as well. I can go to like a part and I can see all the different functions and properties and events, all these little lightning bolt icons here. For example, like the touched event, typically used for something like a kill brick or something, right? So this touched event is a built-in event. This is designed by Roblox themselves. You can create, and basically what happens is when a part touches the part that you have this connected to, it sends a signal out saying, hey, I've been touched, right? Here's the other part that touched me. You can connect to that and do something when that happens. And you basically listen for that signal to be fired. When you hear it, you do the thing that you tell it to do. You can create your own custom events. That's what remote events are, is you're creating your own custom event. You get to determine what triggers the event firing off, and then just the same thing that creates a signal, and then you can then connect to that to whenever it hears it, do whatever you want it to do. So that's remote events in a nutshell. Return, yeah, so return is doing two things. It's basically escaping out of the function and then returning to where the function was called, right? So in this case, my get weekly data store is being called here. So this is an interpreted language, or an interpreted language. It reads line by line, right? So it gets down here, we're doing get data store, it reads this line, it goes in, it reads this line, and it gets to this point where it's saying, okay, get weekly data store, this is a function. It hops up here and performs this function line by line, does the thing, it gets all the way down to this return. It is returning back to where the function came from to continue on, right, to continue on further. But in this case, I'm also returning a value. So it's actually going to replace basically this function call with that value. So it's going to replace it in my case with this, right? That would then get filled in here, which then gets put into get order data store, which is the other function that I have. Oh no, that's the data store service. So, you are correct. Sorry. I was not paying attention. I had a YouTube window over my preview, so I couldn't see that. So I'll go over that real quickly again. So my function here, right? So it's going to read line by line. Essentially, this is just caching this in memory, saying, oh, okay, there's a function called get weekly data store. I'll remember that. It skips past and it goes, okay, there's also this get data store function. So somewhere down the line, we call this get data store function. It hops up to this and it'll run line by line. And when it gets to this line here, it's saying, okay, oh, get weekly data store. I will hop up into that function, run that function line by line until I get to this return. And what this is doing, this is going to return back to where this was called, and it will then continue on from there, right? But because I'm also returning a value, some sort of data, right? It's going to replace essentially this function call with that data, in which case it'd just be this key here. So that key basically gets replaced right here, and then that gets called for the as an argument for our get ordered data store. So that's how return works essentially. But you can also see you can use it as an early escape if something goes wrong. So in our case, like if this doesn't return success, we are using return to escape out of our function and go back to wherever get data store was called, rather than continuing on and trying to set an incorrect value, or in our case like an error message, to what we want it to be. And that means that our leaderboard data store does not get set, so then we can then, you know, perform checks if all that's kind of the thing there too. So do I do Roblox dev full-time? Pretty much. I'm doing this and I'm teaching this are pretty much my two full-time. That and being a dad, those are my full-time jobs right now. So plugin called autocomplete for Roblox Studio auto imports modules and services. Yeah, I mean, that just automatically works with what I have here. So I have a network library somewhere. Yeah, I have a network library, so I can just call that here. I can just say network. You can see it right there, and it'll not only get like replicated storage if I didn't have it, but then gets the require for it as well. It also places them alphabetically for me, which is nice. That's more of a custom thing there, but it's my opinion on cleaners such as made and other modules. They're good if you need them. The garbage collector that's built into Roblox is usually good enough depending on how you're optimizing your code as you're writing it. Made, janitor, that kind of stuff, like those often do. Yeah, the plugin does the same. I mean, it's the plugins in Roblox Studio are the exact same as extensions in VS Code. Here's the thing, Roblox Studio has a lot of different APIs built into it, right? One of those APIs is the script editor. The script editor is literally just the same thing as VS Code for the most part. You can write code in Notepad. You can save that file as .luau. It has become an exact copy of anything you're doing here, right? Anything that you're doing in Studio. The difference is when you use an editor that's designed to support a coding language like Notepad++, Sublime Text, VS Code, Visual Studio, the full Visual Studio, and any of those, Vim, NeoVim, any of that kind of stuff. The difference is you get like syntax highlighting, you get IntelliSense, you get auto completion, you get error checking, right? Linters. So that's the only difference. And just how going from something like Notepad++ to Roblox Studio's code editor, Roblox Studio is going to have better stuff because it's more specific to Roblox and Luau. Similarly, people have come out with a little more advancements for that you can use in something like VS Code, and that's one of the reasons I use it, because it's does better for me, does more things for me. So that's the main difference, right? It's just taking it to the next professional level using a professional tool like VS Code, using things like Git and GitHub, as opposed to the in-studio editor. Roblox themselves, the developers at Roblox themselves use this as well. They use VS Code, they use Roho. They're developing their own file sync. It's in beta right now. You can add it as a beta feature in Studio that syncs your files to your computer, that you can then do all this kind of stuff here. So grow a garden, something I believe I can make. Oh yeah, but some of those games are a lot more simple than you think, and sometimes that's all it takes. Simple games make money. I mean, look at all the brain rot games. In fact, that's what this is for. This is for a brain rot game. So, all right, I've wasted some time. Now I have 22 minutes and I have to go. So, what was I doing? Right, I need to save the data differently. So, I'm getting this, and I can just do dot value, right? Or this is getting the value, actually, because this is using the key. Let's try this. I'm gonna have to do this because this is gonna be incorrect otherwise. This is part of the problem that they were doing there. So we're doing total rolls. Whatever, that's fine. Brain rot has taken over. Like, the thing is, like, that's fine. If you look at Steam, even, like, there's a lot of crap games on Steam that are popular because they're fun for a certain audience, right? If you have certain audience that's gonna, you know, make you a lot of money by doing that sort of stuff. It is what it is. Could not find profile for total rolls. Donated. Oh, right. Yeah, no, I don't care about that, though. Okay. Alright, so now I should be able to... wait for a few seconds. Okay, so that's popped up now on there. Okay. And then this should be waiting for me somewhere. We're calling that on player removing, which we should be getting. Hmm. But yeah, so I mean, there's still a lot of good games out there. You just have to hunt them down now. Luckily, like if you have a certain interest in a certain kind of game, you can usually find communities in Discord that you can follow. Typically, those games obviously take a lot longer to make, but they are worth supporting. Those games aren't going to get as much traction, obviously, or money as the brain rot games, so I highly recommend that you go and you support them any way you can. If you have a little extra money, toss some money their way. Help support the projects that you believe in, that you want to play, because sometimes the money runs out and they aren't able to continue developing those games and they never see the light of day because of that. So yeah. All right. Yes, I will also do this one. All right, I need to probably try and maintain something. Make sure that's a smaller number. Yeah, okay. And then let's see, donations. All right. Now. Okay, data store saves have worked. Should all be updated. Yeah, and then stop. It should log this for me. Oh, I realize why it's not logging for me. I'm a fool. You know what? In fact, let's just change that to a print statement here instead of logging it. Right here. In fact, I can remove this if we're using print, because print will automatically try to do this. Ooh, low caps lock. All right. Load up. Stop. There we go. Okay, so that value is correct. Okay. That's all I really needed to know. Alright, so now we can do weekly rolls. Is going to be rolls minus current saved rolls. Because this is going to be a number. No, this is actually going to be a string. No, it's a number. Okay. Alright, and then we're going to change this to weekly rolls. That should do it for us. Play. One things update. Stop. That is saved. When we play again. Actually, I don't even need to do that. I can just do run, so then I can just come in here and look at it. Let's see what the difference is actually. We have our all-time rolls. Is this number? We are subtracting our weekly rolls amount. I should have used a smaller number for this, I guess, but so we should have. Sorry, that's incorrect. It's not a math term. The log function is for a couple of reasons. I use it to if it has true here, it gives a warning. So I use that for failures. And otherwise it will tie into if I have debug set to true here. Then this will print those messages to the console, specifically with the data store prefix, right? So if I go ahead and run this, you'll see global leaderboard weekly rules test, which is this specific one here. And then it just gives me all the print debug statements. That way I don't have to, I can still put all my print debug statements in there to check things. And I don't have to worry about going in and removing them after the fact, especially because I might want to test it again later, right? So it's just a simple flag up here that I can change. Super simple. Obviously, if it fails anything, it's going to give me a false warning, whatever. Or a warning, so it's going to be bright yellow. Alright, so I did my math wrong here. I have a full logger module, actually. That's a little more robust. And basically you require it, you create a logger, you set the debug and the prefix automatically up here, and then you can just call logger.log, give the message, or logger.log, give the message, and a true if you want it to be a warning. It essentially does kind of the same sort of thing, but like I said, there's a little extra to it though. Then the log, you can also reset the config. So if like halfway down the script you want to reset the config to have a different prefix or maybe not debug a certain portion of it, you can set that. And if you want to get the config, you can see what the config is for whatever reason. So, but yeah. Anyways, have a good one. All right, so math time now for my brain here. Let's see. So we need to take the current saved rules, which is either going to be 0 because if this returns nil, then they wouldn't have any there, right? Yeah, for sure. Have a good one. Let's see. So we have the roles we're passing in, which are our total roles. What am I thinking here? We want to get the difference. 2 seconds, guys. I've got a message coming in from the wife here. Sorry, it's boring right now, I know. One sec. Fire total on the total. Sorry, I'm back now. All right, so we have our if I subtract the total from this and do an absolute, that would work, right? To give me the positive value. So once again, I gotta do the math here. So if I have this much, I'll show you the math I'm working on here. For some reason, I can't math today. When we subtract that much, that should be the difference. Need to use smaller numbers is what I need to do. So we're gonna change that. Let's do 10 all-time rolls. Let's do 0 weekly rolls. Go to play. Let that load up. We're gonna stop. Interesting. If I run this, we should see that these are 10. Okay, very good. That hasn't been updated yet. It's fine. Sorry. You need to set that way so I can reset that value as well. Okay. That should set that. We'll verify. That should say 0 now, or it should say 10 as well. No. Am I changing the wrong one? No, that's correct. Total rolls is 0. Or I guess it should be 10. I should make it the same. That makes sense. Stop. Saves the data. It should now say 10. Okay. Alright. Now that we have that, now we can come in and try this, right? I'm just gonna go ahead and print weekly rolls here. Right, I have to do that on player removing, so we'll have to join and leave. 0. It's 10 minus 10. Okay. Just changing this back to see. For some reason my math is not mathing. It's 0. So it's 10 minus 10 there, I guess. So now if I make this 15 for the total roll, that's gonna say 10 still. Interesting. Oh, because I haven't actually set that to be that. Of course. Alright, so now that's 5. So that is correct. Okay. So we'll just set that to weekly rolls. We can get rid of this. So my math was actually correct the first time. I just didn't give it the right chance. All right, so this says 15 because that's the total, but we're not actually wanting to set it to be the total. So now this should actually reset it to 0. So I'm going to set it to 20. Which means we shouldn't show up here. Okay, good. Because it was set to 0, so I hadn't rolled any for the week. Now I've rolled another 5. So when we leave, it should save. So when we quote-unquote join again, or in our case just run again here, we should see 5 here. But it says 20. That one hasn't been updated, so that's not a problem. So that's our total rolls, but we shouldn't have that. Our current save roll should have been 15. 20 minus 15 should have been 5. Set this to 50 for whatever reason here. Okay, our total rolls is 50 now. So once this loads up here, if we stop and it saves that data, if we play again, should say 30, which it does. Very good. Okay, so it is working. Cool. Done and done with no time to spare because I have to go. Thanks for tuning in. I will probably be on again in like 8 hours. So it's like 10 p.m. my time, Central Time. If you have not, check out the YouTube channel. Also check out the Discord. Come say hi. Join up. We're doing all that. And my wife is messaging me again, but I'm done anyway, so. Alright. I will see you guys later. Have a great rest of your day, or I will literally talk to you guys later if you join in later as well. Bye.